Many times we have made her just as to help me. But when I looked at this, she was known as an Ezra, Pinnacle, Ezra, Pinnacle, means she was suitable, means that she was a protector, means that she was a safety net, means that she had his back. In other words, she was his equal. She was not behind him, she was not in front of him, but she came out of the side of him. She was his rear, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh, and she shall be called woman. Now, when I thought about this, I never saw how powerful Eve was. I never looked at it as Eve being suitable for Adam. I never looked at it from the scenario that God made her just for him. Made her just for him. Let me say that. Made her just for him. The scriptures declare that man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and he obtains the favor of the Lord. And I thought about in this fallen society on how people choose mates, how they get involved with mates, how they deal with relationships, how the relationships eventually go through so much turmoil, so much trouble, so much drama, so much trauma, etc. Because the person that the individual is with, they are not suitable. They are not made for each other. They were not the one that God intended to be hooked up with the other individual. That's why divorce is so high. That's why separations are so major when we talk about the marriage relationship. But then I'm going to go even a little deeper. Any relationship, whether it's your friend, whether it's your partner, whether it's somebody that you interact with, the scriptures tell us how can two walk together unless they agree. Agree does not mean sucking up. Agree does not mean that they are weak. Agree means that they are suitable to be that part of your life where they can help you to become all that you need to be. It's powerful for a person to know their position in a relationship, to know that they are equal in a relationship. And as Adam and Eve was to help meet Adam in his goals, help him be able to meet the demand or the instructions that God had given him. God had given him. But when I look at it, just like after sin came into the world, after the fall, God only told her that she would bear children in pain and that she would be submitted to Adam. He never told her that she was going to be Adam's doormat, Adam's stepping stool, somebody for Adam to abuse, somebody for Adam to get over on, somebody for Adam to treat unfairly, to treat wrongly. But he was to love her like Christ loved the church. He was to be willing, because now what God had set everything up for him, and in reality had laid it all out, that now God picked them both out. He came looking for them. He covered them. And that's what I want to reiterate. Is the person that you are in relationship with, how do they handle when y'all fall? How do they handle when things go wrong? How do they handle when they make a mistake? How do they handle life? Here it is. Everything was smooth. They were in the right place. They had everything for them. It was only certain things that they were not supposed to do. And you know about the tree, etc., etc. Somewhere along the line, Adam was spending more time outside with the animals than he was with Eve. He was excited about her, but he was not properly covering her. He was here first. Eve came after him. She was suitable to him. But somewhere along the line, he was not with her. I know that he was used to being by himself, so he had to adjust to a relationship. And many times, people get involved, and when you first get involved, you only see the good stuff, and you overlook the bad stuff. You only see the strengths. You overlook the flaws, the weaknesses. And then you have this thing, this God complex, that you believe you can change an individual. That what the Lord shows you is the reality. You need to seek God first. You need to seek him first. You need to acknowledge him first. If you acknowledge him first, then he will direct your path. You can't just acknowledge him in spiritual things. You have to acknowledge him in your personal things, in your personal life, in your personal desires, in your personal wants. It's not good for a man to be alone. It's not good for a woman to be alone. It's not good for anyone to be alone. No person is an island. And if you're not with somebody that's ride or die, somebody that's suitable, then when the fall came, yeah, he blamed her. She blamed the serpent. They messed up. God came looking for them. And then he gave them recovery. He gave them grace. But he also gave them, never in the scriptures, and I believe if that had happened, Moses would have written it. Never in the scriptures does it say that Adam and Eve separated. Never in the scripture does it say that they took time apart. Even though Adam said, the woman that you gave me, she gave it to me to eat. And I ate. She said, the serpent beguiled me. But never did they separate. And let me help you here. In relationships, whether it's a personal relationship, a business relationship, a friendship, whatever, you should not be connected with people that you can so easily let go. You would save yourself a whole lot of drama if you were not unequally yoked with individuals. The scriptures say you shouldn't be, number one, unequally yoked with an unbeliever. It's like oil and water mixing together. That means I engage people, I talk to individuals, I walk with people, I deal with people, but my close circle has to have some concept of the Creator. They have to have some concept of Hashem. They have to have some concept of Yahshua. They have to have some concept of Yahweh. They have to have some concept of Jehovah. They have to have some concept of Jesus. They have to believe in God, period. For them to be in my inner circle, they have to have some type of relationship, some type of faith, some type of understanding, some type of hunger, some type of thirst for God and his righteousness. Otherwise, we are unequally yoked and we have nothing in common. If I don't have the power to pull them, then guess what? They're going to have the power to pull me, but we are not suitable. So when the hard times came, Adam and Eve stuck together. They had children. They had Cain. They had Abel. Now they dealt with the loss. They dealt with a child acting up. They dealt with a child killing their other child over a sacrifice to the Creator. But never once did I see that they broke up. Son killed the other son. Trauma, hurt, pain, but they stuck in there. Why? Because she was his protector. She was his strength. She was his Ezra. Abednego. She was that. She was suitable for him. She was made for him. They were compatible. So never did they think about breaking up in the midst of grief. Then they had other children. And when she had her son Seth, she said, now I have a man. I have a male. I lost the son. I didn't give up. I went back and tried, me and Adam together. We had many more children. And it said when after Seth was born, then men began to call on the name of the Lord. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's look at Noah and his wife. Naturally, she had to be a strong woman. She had 3 kids, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. She was a mother. She was a mother-in-law. They were married. Here it is, her husband Noah is building a boat. He's building an ark. He's a righteous man before God. She stuck by him as he did that, as they were out in the river, as they was out on the flood. She never left him. You don't see nowhere in Scripture where she even needed to be known by her name. Powerful, suitable for him. They were made for each other. Even when he got drunk on his own harvest, nowhere in the Scriptures did she leave. Let's get to the real drama couple, Abram and Sarah. They were suitable for each other. They were old in age. We know the Hagar saga. We know that she sent them over there. You know the story. Abraham, Sarah, Hagar, Ishmael, Isaac. But never once, even when she sent him over there, even when he had his relationship with Hagar, Sarah was suitable for him. That was the promise. Never once did they break up, even with outside relationships, etc., etc., etc. Let's look at their children. Drama filled. The twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob goes to his uncle's house, marries his uncle's daughter. Even in the midst of that, they were together. He had other women, he had concubines, he had plenty of children, but he loved Rachel. He loved Rachel. Even then, they were together until death did they part. What am I saying? They were suitable for each other. Who do you have in your life? Who do you deal with? Who do you run with? Who are you intimate with that's suitable for you? You will cut out the drama in your life if you find yourself in relationships with individuals that are suitable for you. That no matter what, whether it's sickness, like Job, Mrs. Job said, why don't you cuss God and die? But she never left Job. Hosea, his wife was a prostitute. She was a woman of the night. But he loved her because God told him that they were suitable for each other. You don't have to be everybody worried about compatible, but are your friends suitable for you? Will they help you meet your godly assignment? Those who you share your innermost thoughts with. Why? Nowhere did they go outside of the house. Nowhere did they tell their business outside of the house. The only way we look at it is because God, through the Spirit, told Moses to write it. Never once they were together when God came looking for them. They said, we are naked. Who told you you were naked? They were together. When the stuff went down, they were together. 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 Together.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I'm not talking to you, Siri. I'm not talking to you. They were together. Together, together, together. And that's modern technology trying to interfere. Me and her are not compatible. But my wife reached out and took the phone. We're compatible. She helped me meet my assignment right now by cutting Siri off. Siri was interfering. Just that quick. Interference had come. She's been on the whole time I've been up. Now, when I talk about people being compatible, she want to put in her 2 cents. But back to people that are suitable for you, individuals that are made for you. That's in every relationship you are. Many people are frustrated on your job because you're on a job that's not suitable for you. God has too much in you. God has created you in his image. God has put his spirit inside of you. You are unstoppable. You are able to do exceedingly and abundantly. Through him, you can do all things. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You're frustrated because you're living beneath your privilege. You're living beneath your potential. You're stuck in your pain. You've been separated 40 years, but you still won't get a divorce. Because y'all aren't suitable. So you figure, well, I'm going to have to move on. That relationship hurt me, so I got to guard up. I have a safety net that if I don't move on, then I won't have to worry about being bothered again. I don't care what you said. God said it's not good for man to be alone. In other words, it's not good for any in mankind to be an island by themselves. Male, female, young or old. You got to have connection with somebody. The saddest thing is to die in a house. The saddest thing is to die in a hospital. The saddest thing to die in a nursing home and nobody cares because they wanted to be alone. They didn't want to be bothered. And they died alone. That's a sad commentary. That you don't want to be bothered with nobody. Seek God. Seek God for your job. Seek God for your associates. Seek God for your friends. But most of all, seek God for the intimate relationship. Because when death comes, when the fight comes, when the murder comes, and when the drama shows up, Eve and Adam were still together. Abraham and Sarah were still together. Jacob was still with Rachel until she died in childbirth. Still together. Still together. Job and his wife were still together. Still together. It only got flaky when Jesus came on the scene. When Jesus came on the scene, he chose 12 disciples and one of them was a devil. But he trained them. He sent them out 2 by 2. He gave them power. He gave them instructions. He gave them ability. That's why you got to be careful. Some of your friends are devils. And they look like they're God ordered. They look like they're God powerful. You say, how do you know that? Judas was able to cast out demons, even though he was of the devil. Judas was able to preach. Judas was able to heal. Judas was able to lay hands. Judas was able to do all these things. Judas even betrayed the Savior for 30 pieces of silver, 30 shekels. The person close to you, many of you are getting strange kisses from familiar lips because it's not suitable. You chose them. God never intended for you to be in any type of relationship with them, corporately, business-wise, and definitely not personally. But you feel like you can't wait. You're thirsty. You don't have no understanding. You just go on and do what you got to do, thinking that that's going to satisfy you, that's going to fulfill you, that's going to bless you, that's going to keep you. And then the minute trouble shows up, the minute the first storm comes, the minute the first time something don't go your way, split veil. And many times, if it's a personal relationship, Now you have brought children into it. And now they experience your pain. And when they should be expressing and experiencing and realizing black love, to them is black pain, black trauma, black hate. Think about it. Well, Jesus died on the cross, betrayed by one of his inner circle, betrayed by the folk that he came to save, betrayed by his disciples who all split on him, but one. But one hung with his mother. But one was there at the cross. But one. That's all you need is one person that's going to be ride or die with you. How do you handle the unexpected? How do you handle it? New Psalmist, I'll be getting ready to send an email to you and that I'm not going to share online right now. But you're going to see Team Ali at their best handling unexpected stuff because we are one. We are one. One. Can't be with nobody that you're not one with. You can't have friends that you're not one with. You can't have folk with you that's not ride or die through sickness and health. Suitable. If God gives you the glue, don't you unglue what God has glued. What God puts together, let no person put asunder. And I expanded on that. That's in every relationship you call a relationship. Whether it's marriage, whether it's your boo, whether it's your work partner, whatever. Reevaluate. I'm going to instruct you today, right now. Reevaluate your inner circle. See, one thing about this virtual season, I'm like Tupac. I don't deal with the phony. I only want to deal with the real. I don't have time to deal with folk without faith. I don't have time to hear your thoughts right now. I don't have that time. If it's not a God thought, if it's a God thought, and God tells you to tell me, I'll receive it with open arms. Remember, I've been around long enough. I have a great spirit that the Lord has given me of discernment. Just because I don't say nothing, don't mean I don't know or I don't see. And one thing, I survived this long. The Lord has kept me awoke. He keeps me awake. He instructs me. He shows me. This one is for you. That one is against you. This one is with you. That one has the potential to be with you. Over the years, some people you chose wrong because you looked at their outside. But he always remind me, Judas can't get you unless he's close to you. And Judas come in different forms, male and female, young and old, black and white. Judas comes from many angles. But he told me, watch and pray. Test every spirit by the Spirit to make sure that they are of God. God don't want us to be alone in Psalmist. And that's one thing that's going to come good about. And this is one thing I found, if I can find anything good about the new norm we are in. The cream has risen to the top. And let me say this. I believe the membership, the disciples that we have now, God has put us together. Because y'all are some bad individuals. And I mean that in a good sense. Y'all are the bomb. I'm so proud to be y'all pastor. I don't know what to do. Is our relationship perfect? No. But we're compatible. We're suitable for one another. We understand each other. We love each other enough to deal with each other, to not depart from each other. When times go hard, we show up. When folk try to put us down, we defend. We fight. We fight in the spirit. We fight in prayer. We fight in praise. We fight in worship. When the enemy tries to steal, kill, and destroy, we back up, Satan. Not today. Not today. Take authority over you. Greater is he that's in me than anything that I encounter in the world. We are unique. Real people. Notice, not phony. Real people. I'm talking about the real disciples. Real people with real issues, serving a real God with real solutions, understanding that we all are part of the house of restoration. Whosoever will, let them come. We ain't fake, we real. What you see is what you get. It is what it is. But we are compatible for each other. We are suitable for each other. And we will ride and die through this season together. And y'all have risen to the top. So be not weary in well doing. We all shall reap if we faint not. Jesus died on the cross. He was buried on the third day. God raised him with all power in his hand. And maybe somebody watching you don't. You've never received Christ as your personal Savior. You don't know how to find relationships. You don't have the Holy Spirit giving you direction. I encourage you, believe in your heart, confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus Christ. Believe that you are a sinner in need of a Savior. And the Bible tells us that you believe that in his death, burial, and resurrection, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved, shall be saved. On Thursday night, we have Revelation study. We appreciate our salvation. On Tuesday night, we have Old Testament study. Monday through Friday, I do a morning manna. I do a 1-minute meditation for our young disciples. We're faithful, we're available, we're teachable. I'm honored to be New Psalmist pastor. I'm honored to have disciples across this country. Beverly Sally, I love you and Butchie. Love you, Carissa, I love you. But Beverly sent me a note that's so sweet. She said, even though we are miles away, New Psalmist is our home. We still a part of the body. Sybil Brown in Florida, running the prison ministry. Faithful, available, and teachable. Bad girl, doing what she got to do for the Lord. Keeping her. You don't have to be local to be a part of New Psalmist Worship Center. Real people with real issues, serving a real God who has real solutions. We are the house of restoration. We invite you to come and hook up with us. We have members that from all over, members from all over that are part of this body of baptized believers in Christ Jesus. Don't sweat the baptism. We're in a new norm right now. If you're a candidate for baptism, as soon as things get back together, we can baptize you. If you are out of New Jersey, I got friends across this country that will take care of that for you, for me. They will do it. Look around the world, Australia, England, no matter where you're at, Africa, I got friends all over that can help you, that will do for me and do for you what I'll do for them. We do unto others as we have them do unto us. So that's it. The disciples never said, Lord, teach us to preach. Lord, teach us to prophesy. The disciples asked and said, Master, teach us how to pray. And this is how he taught them. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. That part is in the book of Luke. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, Tim Williams, for a great praise and worship early interlude this morning. I praise God for being faithful, available, and teachable. I want us to remember God is good to us. It's time to give. Bless each and every giver. Thank you for those that are already given. Thank you for those that are getting ready to give. Thank you for those that are giving. Bless them abundantly. We plant seeds because we expect the harvest. This is your boy. This is your man. This is the black man, the pastor in the hood. I thank God for each and every one of you. Until we meet again, may the Lord keep you. May the Lord bless you. May he cause his face to shine upon you. Remember, this is the best day of your life. And if we live, anticipate tomorrow being even better. Why? Because God is good to me and you. Let's go.